Okay. You'll be all right then.
Yes.
So it was a very nice program, huh? You had
Yes, Maharaj, we had, one good program in one college and
Uma Devi,
few house
any more?
program.
Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam Maharaj.
How's I
Uma Didi
saw
had
the
arranged all the program.
I saw the college program. A lot
Yes,
of
Maharaj.
people there, but nobody asked any question. No.
All two people asked Maharaj. They have
Yes.
very less time. They given us 20 minutes and 5 minutes for question answer.
Oh,
So I think the whole program was very short actually.
okay. Short, but they got the point. They got the message.
I hope some of them asked good question, and also after the program they also interacted with us, and some faculties also come to our house program. They are friends of this new devotee. She got initiated, Devhuti Didi.
Do they all know Uma Devi?
Yes, Devhuti Didi knows, but not her friends.
Oh, all right.
Uma Didi's brother also got initiation.
Oh, okay. Jai. Nityananda, so merciful.
Everything your mercy, Maharaj.
Yes. So now, when will you go to Navadvip?
I'm not sure, Maharaj. Maybe either 18, 19, like that, Maharaj. Not yet decided.
Okay. Are you going to get vaccination before you
No,
go?
Maharaj. No,
No.
Maharaj. Actually, I'm not sure how, because this vaccine they are saying that after a few months again you have to take, and what's the use of that actually?
Then, well, when you're traveling, it's good to have.
I am not sure, Maharaj. How that is going to very much helpful, because you still wear the mask and all these things.
Yes.
So it's not seems to be not so much like beneficial, and
Which
also
which
people.
which vaccine?
This Oxford one, AstraZeneca.
They have a new one, Johnson and Johnson. It's supposed to be a very good one, and it doesn't. Only need one. You don't have to take two.
Oh,
But
that's
it's
good.
supposed to be very effective. But maybe you can't get that in India. I don't know.
Yes, Maharaj. In India, the cases are going up. In again now they started
I know. I know.
stopping
Some
all
new
the border of Bangalore.
some new variants,
Yes.
new mutations.
Yes, Maharaj.
Prabhu, can you get my other glasses? These are too strong. I'll leave these here. For reading, it's good. Your friends are calling you.
Yes, dogs, Maharaj. They always, active. Seems to be when in night time, daytime and other time they are little busy in eating or little like taking rest. But night time they are very active. Seems to.
In Mysore also same any Maharaj.
Everywhere.
Yes.
Actually, when we go out in India, Maharaj, we carry some rocks in our hand in night. Otherwise, they will all attack
Oh,
together.
thank you. Dhanyavad, Swaswas, Prabhu.
Dandavas Maharaj.
Dandavat.
Ivo,
Oh.
Dandavas.
how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thanks.
Okay. Any word from Kusum?
Well, she told me she was going to a specialist and probably she doesn't need more chemo radiation therapy so far.
Okay.
But I still have the dizziness, no? She has to go to
Yes.
a specialist but nothing else.
Okay.
She don't need chemotherapy, no more.
Probably not. She said
Okay.
it's in control, but those things sometimes they come back again. So hopefully it will be all right for a while.
Okay.
What's the medicine for dizziness, Shanta Maharaj? You know all the medicines.
Maharaj, she need, some massage, oil massage. Like if she comes to, Puri, and she needs some shirodhara. Shirodhara means they put, a big pot on the head top, you sleep, and some, warm oil that keep on dipping medicinal oil, and that gives, a lot of relief from the
But something
all
for
this.
the ear. Something she can put in the ear. As the dizziness comes from that. There's a device in the ear. No, not a
Uh,
device. It's a little mechanism. That controls the three directions
yes.
uh, in the ear. So
I
if
think,
they have
Maharaj, all ear problems that, radish leaf, they prepare some kind of, medicinal kind of, like a drop. I
uh,
forgot the procedure, but I can check. It is very much helpful for all kind of ear, problems. So that can be prepared in the house also. But I will check and, can share if she can do it or somebody can do it for her. That is very effective in Ayurveda. The leaf of, radish.
what does Dr. Dosh say? Anything about that
She has to talk, I think, with Dr. Das. I think she has the
anymore?
number.
Dhanyavad, Sana. Uh,
Then he can, I think, advise her. But I think, Maharaj, if she can, like, get some, this physiotherapy in Ayurvedic, that is the best thing for her.
yeah.
Some
Yes.
steam bath. That steam, they give steam in
Yeah.
the chamber, and these all things are very good for her in a present situation.
They give her some physical therapy, turning her upside down in different directions. That's what they're doing. Haribol, Kanupri Didi.
Hare Krishna.
They
I
put
was
her
on
on
mute.
one.
Sorry, Maharaj.
Hare
Dandavad.
Krishna, Dhanyavad.
Hare Krishna.
They put her on a board, and then they turn
Mm.
it so many different ways.
Like a
Rotating.
Dhanyavad,
GPS.
Puri Maharaj, Haribol.
Dandavad, Maharaj.
How are you, Maharaj? Our health is good.
I'm little bit better.
Better?
Yeah, little better now.
Okay.
How was the preaching program?
Is for Shanta Maharaj or for me?
That's for anybody who's
Yeah,
preaching.
you too.
Did you did you see their YouTube video? They had a
Yeah,
YouTube, I think. Huh?
a YouTube
Had-
video. I see. I was joined one of them. I think so.
It was a Christian college. So one lady was asking the question, does it do any good to be good? Something like that was the question. So we had some interaction on that question. And later on, one Didi got initiation from Srila Maharaj through Shant Maharaj. So she was asking, what was that conception of the good? So since they were, I mean, this Mysore people are quite sharp and intelligent. I mean, like a very good kind of consciousness.
what is the answer?
Answer is the philosophy of Socrates that
Socrates.
yes, that truth, the truth and the good. So there is a relation.
But
and
what is the good?
it is a form of all forms, the
Form
ultimate
of
form,
form.
the concept. So, since I try to relate it to Vaishnava philosophy, how different devotees, according to their different types of service, contributions, they bring happiness to uh, the devotees. So, in that sense, when it comes to Krishna, then Krishna is like doing so many things, but everything is good. But that cannot be imitated by somebody who is not in Krishna's position. Similarly, some devotee is doing something, and that is appreciated by everybody. Like Bhimsen, he's shouting, then everybody becomes satisfied by his uh, like whenever whatever he does. Similarly, like many other devotees, Yudhishthir Maharaj also has these good qualities. So the conception of the good is uh, somehow related with this truth in the ultimate sense, and to the extent that different devotees have that qualification, so they also partake of it. But it is all coming from the absolute, the conception of the absolute. Something like that. I answered. I don't know. I did well or not. I don't know.
Maharaj, I think Robert Wallace, he talks a lot about this good. Once he had, that post in our Sadhu-Sanga group, and you were telling God is good, only God is good. That from absolute point of view, the goodness can be understood. Otherwise, this relative good is there, but that is not the ultimate good.
In Plato, Socrates, the good is very difficult to explain. They did not explain it very thoroughly themselves because it's such a difficult thing to say what it is. Just like in the absolute, everything is good. So, from any relative perspective, we can't say what it is. Only in the absolute world, concept of good can be made good, can be made properly. Then, but how does that good produce knowledge? How does it produce truth? Uh,
Um, I think in the I think in the Socratian philosophy, that good is uh, connected to wisdom, or the truth is not cut off from the truth of, or the concept. So the good is that which is like just like we say that a theory is good, for example. That means that theory should be able to explain the things in the sense of absolute. That the good is the concrete conception of the absolute. So it is distinguished from ordinary virtue. Uh, in that sense, I think when we consider the development of knowledge, then it must culminate in the good.
you ever heard of summum bonum?
Yes, yes,
Prabhupada used to talk about the summum bonum.
yes.
I find, I think you could find it in the Bhagavatam, in Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavatam. And he describes this book as the Bhagavatam as the summum bonum. Bonum is the highest good. Summum means the highest, summit, like summit. The highest, summum bonum. Bonum means good. So he called the Bhagavatam the summum bonum, knowledge of the Bhagavatam. Ever read that?
Yes,
I
Maharaj,
think
I remember.
somewhere in the introduction to the
Yep.
Bhagavatam, he mentions that summum bonum. I wish Therese was here. She could look it up on Google. She would try to find the reference. Summum bonum.
Maharaj, the truth can be only known from the vision of the ultimate good. It cannot be known from the relative good, because we may say like different subjective aspect of reality of different individuals, but that is not actually the true reality. Reality, the truth can only be known from the angle of vision, from the point of view of the absolute.
Yes, of course. I wanted to know where in
Yes,
Bhagavatam Prabhupada said that.
Let me check, Maharaj.
Yes, because in this, in the illusory environment, what is the question of truth or goodness? The whole 10th canto is the summum bonum, yes. Summum bonum, what does he say?
Canto 10, Summum Bonum, there is a section is there.
What does he say? You don't see it?
I can see it, Maharaj.
Okay.
So, it's actually, these all chapters names are there in that.
Anyhow, by the 10th canto, he means the development of Krishna Prem. There we reach the summum bonum. When Krishna Prem is reached, one can dance with Krishna, love of Krishna, playing with Krishna, all these things. There we will find a summum bonum, our highest good, highest fulfillment, highest perfection, whatever you are looking for, you'll find it there. Summum bonum. What is that highest good? That thing that will be most beneficial and most perfect.
highest necessity,
Huh?
the topmost necessity.
Yeah. That ananda, that ecstasy, that will be overflowing, not only perfect, but also overflowing. It will complete all boundaries and then overflow beyond the boundaries. Whatever expectations you have, they will be met and exceeded.
You mentioned something in the Bhagavad Gita introduction about summum bonum.
What's that?
You want to read it?
What is this from now?
The introduction to Bhagavad Gita.
In the introduction to Gita, okay?
Dhanyavad Pranam. One does not need highly developed intelligence. The point is that anyone who accepts the principle of Bhakti Yoga and accepts the Supreme Lord as the summum bonum of life, as the highest target, the ultimate goal, can approach the Lord in the spiritual sky. If one adopts the principles enunciated in Bhagavad Gita, he can make his life perfect and make a permanent solution to all the problems of life. This is the sum and substance of the entire Bhagavad Gita. And then he mentions it in chapter 13 in the purport. It is mentioned here that the codes of the Brahma Sutra are very nicely arranged according to the cause and effect. Some of the sutras or aphorisms are Navihad Ashrute, Natma Shrute, and Paratu Tachrute. The first aphorism indicates the field of activities, the second indicates the living entity, and the third indicates the Supreme Lord, the summum bonum, amongst all the manifestations of various entities. And then he also mentions it in the Bhagavatam introduction. The conception of God and the conception of absolute truth are not on the same level. The Srimad Bhagavatam hits on the target of the absolute truth. The conception of God indicates the controller, whereas the conception of the absolute truth indicates the summum bonum, or the ultimate source of all energies. There is no difference of opinion about the personal feature of God as the controller, because a controller cannot be impersonal. According to the Bhagavad Gita, controller who has come specific extraordinary power is called Vibhutimat Sattva, or controller empowered by the Lord. There are many Vibhutimat Sattvas, controllers or gods with various specific powers, but the absolute truth is one without a second. This Srimad Bhagavatam designates the absolute truth, or the summum bonum, as the Param Satyam.
Good. Very nice. The summum bonum, huh? In philosophy circles, they know the meaning of that. Summum bonum, ultimate truth, the ultimate good. And that is considered the truth also. And to know that is considered the knowledge. If a person doesn't know what is his ultimate good, then how he can be a knowledge, right? Oh, we're doing so many things. But if we don't know what is the ultimate good, what is the ultimate purpose, what is the ultimate reason, what is the ultimate satisfaction that we can get in our whole life, then can a person be really said to know anything? I know something about this and that and the other thing, but he's going through his life not knowing really what is his purpose, what is the highest achievement he can get. Uh, is it by studying chemistry or mathematics or sociology or whatever, right? So without having that awareness and knowledge, then we can say they actually are have any knowledge. And to reach that highest thing they call absolute truth, then certainly that is true. So absolute truth, what is the meaning of absolute truth? Anyone know?
In the philosophy of Socrates, he gave the allegory of the cave. That is truth distinguished from illusion.
What did he say?
To escape the world of shadows, to reach the ultimate good, one must first escape the world of shadows. And then this develops into several stages. Just as in Greek society, they are too much concerned with the justice. So some sections related that the good is congruous to the highest justice. But then Socrates went a little bit further, I think, when he said it is the ultimate truth. That is the good is the ultimate truth. So that means there is a
So
stage of
what is that? How do we can simply, in a few words, what is the absolute truth?
Where Maharaj, all the opposite and contradictory, reality or existence is harmonized.
Very good. Prabhupada told once the absolute truth is the same for everyone, regardless of their perspective. He told something like that. It's the same for everyone, from every perspective. It's the same. Relative truth, which means from your perspective, from an individual perspective. The absolute truth is that which is the same regardless of anybody's perspective. They will understand it the same as it is. The difference between absolute truth and relative truth is like that. What will be the same for everyone regardless of their perspective. Uh, Not that you have a Christian truth and a Jewish truth and a Hindu truth. Uh, Prabhupada gave the example of gold. Can you call it Jewish gold? Can you call it Christian gold? Huh? Hindu gold? Buddhist gold? Gold is gold, huh? Regardless of what your religion is. Uh, so the absolute truth is like that also.
Maharaj, you have given the example of that number, negative and positive, when you put that in absolute, that sign.
Yes. It's the same. It doesn't change its value, however you look at it, positive or negative perspective. So, absolute truth is like that. When you come to that point in which nobody can refuse what you're saying, cannot prove that there's anything else higher than that. That is absolute truth. Wherever they are coming from, we don't preach religion. Huh? We're not preaching about God. Huh? In India, especially, they have so many gods. Shiva's God, and Durga's God, and this one and that one. But we're teaching about the absolute truth, higher conception, all fulfilling, all encompassing, right? All contradictions are resolved. What is that in which all contradictions can come and still be part of the same absolute truth? Huh? Can God make something so heavy he can't lift it up? Then he's limited. If he can't make something that he can't lift, then that God is limited. If, uh, if he can't make it, he's limited. If he can make it, he's limited. Then what
One
kind of
Muslim argued like that with me in London.
then what's the answer?
You told at that time that God can create the limit and he can again change that limit.
He can make something so heavy that he can't lift it, and then he lifts it. That is the absolute.
Whereas tomorrow, one organization here, Santigiri, they are organizing like an annual meet. So, last time they invited me for one talk. So now tomorrow they are organizing on, like removing casteism from Varnashram system, like that.
Okay.
So there are some, this Professor Bhatt and another, speaking 15 minutes talk.
Very good. That's very nice, Maharaj. You are going everywhere and preaching.
It's online, Maharaj. Just we are trying to present something. I'm not sure this caste thing is, so much becoming like people are thinking about this so much in India.
And we could talk about anything and direct it back to Krishna, right?
Yes, Maharaj.
And that life comes from life. This idea, we have to get across to them so they stop their materialistic jabber. Huh?
Yes, Maharaj. This one devotee, she is Samantha from London. She is sending me message that how can I join through Zoom this meeting. So I was just sent her that we are
Oh,
not having on Zoom, on Google Meet.
is there any requirement for that, or anyone can join?
I don't think there is no requirement. Just
Oh,
I think one need Gmail account. I think so.
huh?
I think they
What
need
do you?
Gmail account, Google account.
Oh, who is that?
There is one
Oh,
devotee. This is Samantha. She started joining our sanghas, Zoom sanghas regularly for last few. You know,
okay, good.
I think she joined. I think
Hare Krishna, Mataji. What's her name?
Samantha.
Samantha? Who?
Hi, Hare Krishna. Maharaj.
Samantha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Haribo. Thank you for joining us. Where are you from?
From East London.
Are you from London? Okay.
Yes, Maharaj.
We have two other people
People
from
from
London
from
or
London
UK,
or
wherever
UK,
you are.
wherever you are.
Can you repeat that, please? Maharaj?
Some echo is
Echo
coming,
is
Maharaj.
coming, madam.
I think
I think
both phone and
both phone
other
and
things are.
other things are.
I think Krishna Keshav Prabhu has to mute.
Okay. So, all right. So now, shall we have our kirtan? My dear Rasaraj Prabhu?
Sure, Maharaj. Like a designated driver.
I, I
Designated
feel
singer.
I feel very humbled to ask you anything. Yeah, there's such an exalted Vaishnava.
No, not really.
Yes. Yeah.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya
Jaya
Shri
Shri
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu
Prabhu
Nityananda
Nityananda
Shri
Sri
Advaita
Advaita
Gadadha
Gadadha
Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya
Jaya
Shri
Shri
Krishna
Krishna Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu
Prabhu Nityananda
Nityananda Sri
Sri
Advaita
Advaita Radha
Gadadhar
Sri
Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Bhakta
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya
Jaya
Shri
Shri
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu
Prabhu Nityananda
Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare, Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
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 Hare,
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 Hare
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 Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama, Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare
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 Hare.
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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
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 Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
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 Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo.
Nitai
Nitai
Gaura
Gaura
Hari
Hari
Bol,
Bo,
Hari
Hari
Bol,
Bo,
Hari
Hare
Hari
Bol,
Bo,
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bo.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo.
Nitai
Nitai
Gaura
Gaur Hari
Hari Bo,
Bol, Hari
Hari
Bol,
Bo,
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Jaya Jaya Guru De, Guru De, Guru De, Guru De.
Jaya Jaya Guru Dev, Guru Dev,
Jaya Guru
Guru Guru
Jaya
Dev.
Jaya Jaya Guru De, Guru De, Guru De, Guru De.
Jaya Jaya Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Guru Dev.
Ora Premanandi Hari Hari Hari
Hari
Hari Hari
Bol,
Hari
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 Bol.
Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Charandev Ki Jai,
Jai,
Shri Govardhan Ki Jai,
Jai,
Jai.
O Premanandi,
Hari
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 Bol.
Hari.
gloriously assembled devotees,
Jai,
Srila Bhakti Ki Jai.
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 Jai
Jai
Satguru
Vishnupa.
Maharaj, Vyasaraj Prabhu, Uma Devi, Kanupriya Devi, Rana Devi, Bhakti and Bhakti Samantha. Hare Krishna.
Jai Vishnupa Paramahansa Parivrajak Gosila Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj ki Jai.
And Krishna Kesava Prabhu.
Jai. Samasta, I think your speaker has some problem. Echo is coming. Can you adjust your that headphone?
He doesn't have it.
1 minute, Maharaj.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, is that
It's like
better?
an echo.
Oh, that's not good.
That's better.
Okay.
She's trying to get the headphone, I think.
Sounded like you were all coming from the sky.
Do you have it set? Huh? Is it still echoing?
Yeah, this coming from Samantha.
Oh. Okay. So we're going to read from the Pocket Kirtan Guide, and I think Krishna Kesava has put a link on the comments section. If you, Samantha, if you want to look on the comments section, you'll see a link for the Krishna Kirtan Pocket Kirtan Guide. It is the songbook from the mutt that we use, and we read from there to sing some of the bhajans.
38, Maharaj.
Yes, we're going to start with page 38. Today also is the appearance
Narottam
day,
Das.
appearance of Narottam Das Thakur. We'll read something about Narottam,
Okay, Maharaj.
a very important Vaishnava for us to know also. We have some humans and some dogs joining us today.
every Saturday night they are joining, Maharaj.
You won't participate.
So on page 38 we are. Samantha, I don't know if you got that book, but that's where we're reading from, page 38. We're going to start. This is the prayers. Every time we meet, we say these prayers in Sanskrit. Vandeham
Vandeham
Sriyuta Padakamalam
Padakamalam
Sri Gurun
Gurun Vaishnavanscha
Sri Rupam
Rupam Sagrajatam
Sagrajatam
Sahagana
Bhagana Raghunathamitam
Jiva
Tam Sajivam
Sadvaitam
Advaitam
Padhutam
Savadutam
Harijana
Janasaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam
Sri
Sri
Radha
Krishna
Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita
Lalita
Ritam
Sri Vishakhan Vidamscha
Om Agana
Om Ajnanati Mirandasya
Nanjana
Janandana Salakaya
Chakshurun
Chakshurun Militam Jaina
Asmai Shri
Tasmai Sri Gurave
Namaha.
Puja Shri Guru
Sri Guru Vargamrita Mahabhavanaipada
Parya
Purvaparya Parampara Pachalita
Pragya
Prajna
Bhakti
Bhakti-nirmalankarasya
Hitam samrakhitam saadaram
Sadaram
Vande
Vande
Gurudevanakasya
Ananta
Gurudevanatasya
Shira Acharya
Acharya Varjam
Acharya
Gaurvabhisa
Gurvabhishasukam
Gurvabhishasukam
Gurudaya Ashisha
Gurudayashitam
Gurudayashitabhushitam
Chintya
Chinta
Chintya
Chinta Samasta Veda Nipunam
Vedanipunam
Sri Rupa
Shirupa
Pantanugam
Panthanugam
Pantanugam
Govinda
Govindavidam Jalam
Govindagarandaratano
Bharatanum
Bharatanum
Bhaktanuvitam Sundam
Sundaram
Vande
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 Vishwadevya
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 Bhagavad Prajno
Bhagavad
Hite
Prajno
Pranam
Pranam
Devam Divyam Sutam
Chandabadanam Balarko Chelam Chilam
Vartachelan
Chitam
Sandrananda
Sandra
Sandhananda Bharat Sarikavaranam
Vairagyo
Vairagya
Vairagya
Vidyabhim
Vidyabhudhim
Sri
Sri
Siddhanta
Siddhantikim
Subhasiddham
Bhaktilasitam
Saraswatanam
Saraswatanam
Varam
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 Vande Tam
Vanditam
Vanditam
Pradapsunaveka Saranam
Punamadeka
Nashishwaram
Nasiswaram
Sridharam
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 Shri
Sri
Siddhanta
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 Saraswati
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 Iti Jagodiya
Jagodiya
Gurvande
Guruambaye
Bhatto Baduvira
Bhatto Banuryasvati Gagane
Yogora
Yogaranai
Yogarantanai
Ayavara
Mayavad
Tiruvara
Tingiladhara Gatano Dhrita Jivaniman
Krishna
Jivanimam
Prema
Krishna Prema Sudabdi
Sudabhigam
Krishna
Gahan Sukhat
Sudadhigan
Prabha Tumtam
Paraprabham
Bhaje
Prabhu Dhambhaje
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Vishaya
Suraya
Bhattavaduta
Bhattavaduta
Murtaye
Murtaye
Gaurangre
Gaurangi
Gaurangre
Padmabhringaya
Padmabhringaya
Bhava
Radhabhava
Radhabhava
Nisevine
Nisevine
Vande Bhakti
Vande
Vande
Bhakti
Vinodam
Bhakti
Vinodam
Vinodam
Gaura Shakti Swarupam
Shakti Swarupakam
Bhakti
Bhakti
Shasakya Sangam
Ragham
Sangam
Radharasa
Radharasa Nidhanidhim
Rakasanidhim
Gaura Vaja
Gaura Bhaja
Srita Shishaya
Shishaswai
Shishasai
Vaishnavaya
Vaishnavi Bande Vigraham
Vigraha
Jagannatha
Jagannatha Prabhum
Jagannatha Prabhum
Bande
Prabhupada
Premadi Vidya Vaishnavam
Vaishnavam
Vanchakalpa
Vanchakalpatarubhyacha
Kripa Sindhu
Sindhu
Patitanam
Anam Pavanebhyo
Patitanam Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Nebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo
Namo
Namaha
Namaha
Panchatatvatmakam Krishnam
Tatvatmakam Krishnam
Bhaktarupa
Bhattarupa
Sarupakam
Bhattarupa
Sarupakam
Sarupakam
Bhattavatar
Bhagavataram
Bhattavataram
Bhaktakyam
Bhaktakyam
Mami Bhakta
Namami
Nami Bhakta
Bhaktasarikam
Satikam
Namo
Namo
Mahavajaya
Mahavadanyaya
Krishna
Krishna
Prema
Prema
Jayate
Prema
Pradayate
Pradayate
Krishnaya
Krishnaya
Krishna Chaitanya
Krishnaya Krishna
Namne
Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tuse
Gaurate Namaha
Namaha
Jayatam
Jayatam
Surato
Surato Pango Brahmananda
Brahmagati
Brahmatirgati
Masharabhasya Padambhujo
Sarvasva Padambujo
Radha Madana
Radhamana
Mohano
Mohano
Divyad
Divya
Vrindavaranya
Kalpadrunda
Kalpadrumado Srimad Ratnaghara Singhasanastho
Simhasanastho
Srilam
Sarva Sri
Tadevo
Govinda Devo
Prishtalibi Sevyamana Smarami Sriman Rasara Saramhi
Rasarami
Ansi Vadatada
Tata
Sthita
Tata Stita
Karshana
Darshan
Venu
Venu
Sanair
Sanair
Gopi
Gopi
Gopinath Sri
Pinata
Astuna
Sri Astuna
Vrindaya
Vrindaye tulasi
Jai
devyaye
Tulasi Devya
Priyaye keshavasya cha
Keshavasya Cha
Krishna
Krishna
bhakti spade
Pade
devi
Devi
Achavachai
Bhattavatte
Bhattavachai
namo
Namo
namaha
Namaha
Atho
Ottanatva
dattva
Tattva
mantra
Mantra
gurun
Guru
Gurun bhagavatarthadan
Bhagavatartadam
Vyasa
Vyasan jagadguru natva
Natva
Omaya
Tato jaya mudiraye
Jaya
Jaya Sapadika
Srikasi
Samadika
Sri
Sri
Guru
Guru
Gauranga
Gauranga
Gandharva
Gandhar Vikari
Govinda
Govinda
Sundaraj
Sundara Padakanam
Padakanam
Jayastu
Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Sri
Nityananda
Advaita
Shri
Gadadha
Advaita Gadadhar
Gaur
Vasari
Bhakta
Gaur
Gaur
Bhakta Bindu
Bhaktavinda
Hare Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
Krishna Hare
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 Rama
Hare Rama Hare
Hare Rama
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 Hare Rama
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 Hare
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 Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya Dev Ki Jai. Jai
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 Govardhana Ki Jai.
Jai
Jai
Jai Narottam Das Thakur Ki Jai.
Jai
Jai
Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai.
Jai
Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Institute Ki Jai.
Jai
Jai
Bhaktivedanta Institute Ki Jai.
Jai
Jai
Sri Mayapur Ki Jai. Sri
Jai
Jai
Navadvip Ki Jai.
Jai
Jai
Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai.
Jai
Jai
Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai.
Jai
Jai
Sri Yamuna Mayi Ganga Mayi Ki Jai.
Jai
Jai
Puri Dham Ki Jai. Sri
Jai
Jagannath
Jai
Balaram Subhadra Ki Jai.
Jai
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 Beho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai.
Jai
Jai
O Premanandi Hari
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 Hari Hari
Bol
Hari Bo
Samaveda
Jai Mr.
Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai.
Jai
Jai
Glory to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna
Jai
Good. I won't let you say it, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. All right.
Jai Sripad Bhakti Puri Maharaj ki Jai
Jai
Hmm. Hmm.
So let's see. How you doing there, Zana? You okay?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Because my cat woke me up today
Oh, I see.
before and she doesn't want to eat tuna from the can, which was her favorite food. Now I get some food from donation center and they give us venison. So she loves this venison. So she just gets me up before 7 o'clock to get free, or not free, fresh food.
Okay.
So I'm feeling a little.
Haribol, Abhiya Sindhu Prabhu. I was just thinking of you. That means you're going to live for a very long time. When someone thinks about you and you suddenly show up, I heard, it means you're going to live for a long time.
What they say.
Thought of, or the person who thought of them?
The person who you thought of.
Is Amir Sindhu muted, I think.
That's okay. He can hear. If you want
Yeah.
to say anything, you have to unmute. But anyhow, I'm glad to see everyone. Uh, Samantha, Haribol, Dandawat. Samantha, you have any questions or anything before we go into all these things? Do you know what we're doing? Have you been around for a while? What's going on with you?
I don't have any questions, Mirage. And I haven't been around for a while. maybe a year or two.
I say.
I remember you at Green Street, Samantha.
Yes,
A few years back now. A few years back. So nice to see you.
You too, Didi.
Were you able to get that book? Download it?
No, I wasn't able to get it, Mirage.
Okay.
But I saw the link, so I'll try to download it after.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you.
Every week we have our Sangha and that book. We try to use that book.
Okay, thank you.
Now, let's see. Muni Maharaj, are you there?
I think he already gone for sleep, Maharaj.
Already gone?
Mm.
Okay. And Uma Devi, we haven't heard you sing for a long time, I think. Would you like to chant a bhajan for us?
Anyone, Maharaj, what do you like?
Yes, anyone you like.
No, you like, Maharaj, you tell me.
I like them all. Especially the ones that you sing are very nice.
I can sing Sri Sri Guru Ashtakam.
Yes.
Davanala.
Okay. Page, which page is that on?
45.
45. Page 45. Okay, we're on page 45 of the Pocket Kirtan Guide. Dandavad.
Samsara dava nalalida loka tranaya karunya gana ganatvam
Samsara dava nalalida loka Pranaya karunya ganagatam
Pratasya kalyana gunarvavasya Vande Guru Sri Charana Ravindam
Pratacha kalyana gunarnavasa Vande Guru Sri Charana Ravindam
Vande Guru Sri Charana Ravindam Vande Guru Sri Charana Ravindam
Vande Guru Sri Charana Ravindam Vande Guru Sri Charana Ravindam
Mahaprabhu Kirtana Narta Gita Vaditya Maden Manasora Sena
Mahaprabhu ki Chananitya Gita Aditya Majana Manasarasena
Kampar Sutaranga Bajo Vande Guru Sri Charana Ravindam
Roman Chatkam Pasru Taranga Bhajo Vande Guru Sri Charana Ravindam
Vande Guru Sri Charana Ravindam Vande Guru Sri Charana Ravindam
Vande Guru Sri Charana Ravindam Vande Guru Sri Charana Ravindam
Sri Vigrahara Dana Nityanana Sringaratan Mandira Marjanadu
Sri Vigrahara Dhanityanana Singaratan Mandira Majanado
Viktasya Bhaktim Cha Niyanto Chopi Vande Guru Sri Charana Ravindam
Yukta Shabhastasya Diyangatopi Vande Guru Sri Charana Ravindam
Vande Guru श्रीचरणारविन्दं वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम्
वन्दे गुरो
वन्दे
श्री
गुरो श्री
चरणारविन्दम्
चरणारविन्दं
वन्दे
वन्दे
गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम्
चरणारविन्दम्
चतुर्विधा श्री भगवत्प्रसाद स्वादन्न तृप्तन् हरिभक्तसङ्गन्
चतुर्विधा श्री भगवत्प्रसाद स्वदन्न तृप्तन् हरिभक्तसङ्गान्
कृतय्वा तृप्तिं भजत सदैव वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणरविन्दम्
नित्यमैव तृप्तिं भजत सदैव वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम्
वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणरविन्दम् वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणरविन्दम्
वन्दे
वन्दे
गुरो
गुरो
श्री चरणारविन्दम्
वन्दे
वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम्
श्रीराधिका माधवेरपार माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपनाम्नाम्
श्रीराधिका माधव पारो मधुलीला
प्रतीक्षणा स्वादनलोलुपस्य वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणरविन्दम्
प्रतीक्षणा स्वादनलोलुपस्य वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम्
वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणरविन्दम् वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणरविन्दम्
वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम्
निकुञ्जयो नो रतिकेलि सिद्ध्यर् यायलिभिरुक्तेर्हपि क्षणीया
निकुञ्जयो नो सिद्धै
तत्र ते साक्षाद्धतिवल्लभस्य वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणरविन्दम्
तत्रादिसाक्षादतिवल्लभस्य वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम्
वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणरविन्दम् वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणरविन्दम्
वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम्
साक्षादरित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रैर्युक्तस्ते तद्भावयत एव सद्भिः
साक्षादतीत्वेन समस्तशास्त्रे उत्कृष्टता भावत एव सद्भिः
किन्तु प्रभुर्या प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणरविन्दम्
किन्तु प्रभुर्या प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम्
वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणरविन्दम् वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणरविन्दम्
वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम्
यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसाद न गति कुतोऽपि
यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादात् न गति कुतोऽपि
न्यायं स्तुतै तस्य यस्य त्रिसन्ध्यं वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणरविन्दम्
जायं शुभां तस्य जशास्ति सन्ध्यां वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम्
वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणरविन्दम् वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणरविन्दम्
Bande
वन्दे
Gura
Vande Guru
Sri Charanarvindam.
Charanaravindaam.
Bande
Vande
Guru
Guru
Sri
Sri
Charanarvindam.
Charanaravindaam.
श्रीमद्गौरकाष्टकमेतदुच्यचे ब्रह्ममुहूर्ते पतति प्रयान्तात्
Shrimad Guru
Srimad
Rastakame Taduchai Brahme Murte Padati Prayatna.
Prayatna.
येन वृन्दावननाथ साक्षात् सेवय लाभ्य जनसुनतेव
Yastena
Yate
Vrinda
Vrinda
Mananath Saksha
I
Sevalabhya
Janasundeva
Janasantaiva.
वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणरविन्दम् वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणरविन्दम्
Bande
वन्दे
Guru
Vande
Sri
Guru Sri
Charanarvindam.
Charanaravindaam.
Vande
Bande
Vande
Guru
Guru
Sri
Sri
Charanarvindam.
Charanaravindaam.
जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा
Jaya
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 Gurudeva Jaya
Gurudeva
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 Gurudeva Jaya
Gurudeva
Gurudeva
Jaya
जय
Gurudeva.
जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा
Jaya
Jaya
Gurudeva Jaya
Jaya
Gurudeva
Gurudeva
Gurudeva Jaya
Jaya
Gurudeva.
Gurudeva.
Devo.
श्री गुरु अष्टकम की
Amir Sindhu Prabhu was asking page numbers. We just finished, Prabhu.
Oh, it's on page. Oh, it's on page 40. What is it? 45, yes. So, Sanat, would you like to read the English?
Yes, Maharaj.
Thank you.
I offer my obeisance unto the lotus feet of Sri Guru, the ocean of goodness, who assumes the form of the cloud mercy to deliver the souls burning into the blazing fire of material existence. I offer my obeisance unto the lotus feet Sri Guru, who sheds waves of tears, trembles, and experiences horripilation through his devotion to Sriman Mahaprabhu and becomes maddened at heart by chanting, dancing, singing, and playing instruments. I offer my obeisance unto the lotus feet of the Sri Guru, who daily engages himself and other devotees in dressing the deity with various ornaments, cleaning the deity's temple, and performing other devotional practices. I offer my obeisance unto the lotus feet of Sri Guru, who is always satisfied by satisfying the Lord's devotees with the four types of tasteful Bhagavad Prasad. I offer my obeisance unto the lotus feet of Sri Guru, who is always eager to relish the unlimited sweet names, forms, quantities, and pastimes of Sri Sri Radha, Sri Sri Radhika Madhava. I offer my obeisance unto the lotus feet of Sri Guru, who is very expert in the arts performed by the Sahis to fulfill their forest couple's love play, and thus very to them, dear to them. I offer my obeisance unto the lotus feet of Sri Guru, who is said by all the scriptures to be the Lord Himself, and considered to be so by the sadhus, yet in the Lord's beloved devotee. Now, do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Very nice. Uh,
She froze.
Haribo. Now he cannot communicate in any way with her, huh? Will that do anything?
No, she's using her computer for this.
Oh.
Oh, she's left. Maybe she'll join.
Okay. Let's see. Then, Amiya Sindhu, Prabhu, do you have the page where we're at? Do you have the page?
Yes,
Yes, maybe you can continue where she left off.
I offer my up
Yes.
unto the lotus feet of Shiv Guru, who is very expert in the arts performed by the Shaktis to fulfill the forest couple's love play, and is thus very
Wait a minute. We're on number 8.
Number 8. Sadly, they're not actually 08.
Number 8.
Page
47.
47.
Verse 8. 47 verse 8.
I offer my obeisances unto the lotus feet of Shiv Guru, who is said by all the scriptures to be the Lord himself, and considered to be so by the sadhus, yet it is the Lord's beloved devotee. I offer my obeisances to the Lord's feet of Sri Guru, praising and meditating upon his glory at the 3 junctions of the day. By his grace, one gains the Lord's grace. Without his grace, one has no shelter anywhere. One who carefully recites aloud this Sri Guru Vishaktam during the Brahma Muhurta, the 96-minute period before sunrise, attains direct service to the Lord Vrindavan at the end of life. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Very powerful, huh? Message. Who can chant this Gurvastakam? During the Brahma Muhurta, 96 minutes before sunrise. What happens? He will get direct service to the Lord of Vrindavan at the end of his life. Huh? What more could you want? Simple process. You want to know how to go back to Godhead, back to home? There, instruction is given. So wonderful, huh? Evil. Thank you, bro.
We lost Jana.
She can't get connected again, huh?
Her network connection isn't back yet. She sent me a text message.
I see. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. All right, then. Shanta Maharaj. Would you
Yes,
like to
Maharaj.
chant something for us?
Okay, Maharaj. Any specific one, Maharaj, you want?
Whatever one your heart dictates to you.
Okay. Okay, Maharaj. Then I am singing, Maharaj, this Panchatattva song that is on 49. Actually, 2 songs we sing in the morning for Panchatattva. The second one we not sing. So we can sing that. Bhajare, bhajare, amar mon ati manda.
Okay.
On the page 49, Maharaj.
Dhanavad, Maharaj. May I please say something, please?
You want to say something?
Yeah, with your permission, please.
Yes.
May I just say, just for the record, what an incredible week. Very, 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 such a busy week for Guru Shanta. And his voice now is very, very, very sore. But it's so wonderful that even with the pain that he has, he still chants with such inspiration and vigor, and he offers association so early in the morning throughout the world to so many devotees, and yet he still is performing. And yet he had not honey for 4 days. He had no honey, access to honey. He needs honey now for his voice. So, most wonderful voice, most wonderful Guru. Dhanyavad. Dhanyavad,
Ah,
Dhanyavad, Guru.
Obviously, the Prabhu is always in ecstasy. So, Maharaj, shall I start, Maharaj, this one? Bhajare, Bhajare.
yes, I said
Okay,
it.
Maharaj.
I have to say.
Okay, Maharaj. ভজরে ভজরে আমার মনতি মন্দ
Bhajare,
Bhajare,
Anati
ভজন বিনা গতি নাই রে
Bhajan Vina
Bhajan Vina Gati Naire.
ওহে আমার মূঢ় মন ভজন বিনা গতি নাই রে
Ohe Ham
Ore Amar Mudhamana
Bhajan Vina
Vina
Gati
Gati
Naire.
Naire.
ব্রজবনে রাধা কৃষ্ণ চরণারবিন্দ
Bhajar
Raje Bhakti Radha Krishna Charanaravinda
জ্ঞান কর্ম পরিহরি
Jana
Hari
Karma
Hari
Parihari Re
শুদ্ধ রাগ পথ ধরি জ্ঞান কর্ম পরিহরি
Sudha
Udaraga
Hari Jana Karma
Jana
Hari
Karma
Hari
Parihari Re
গৌর গদাধরা দ্বৈত গুরু নিত্যানন্দ
Gauragada
Gura Gadadhara Dvaita
Guru
Guru
Nityananda
Nityananda
গৌর কৃষ্ণে অভেজনে
Gaura Krishna
Gora Krishne Avejene
গুরু কৃষ্ণ প্রিয়া জেনে গৌর কৃষ্ণে অভেজনে
Guru Krishna
Guru Krishna Priya Jene Gora Krishne Avejene
শ্রীনিবাস হরি দাস মুরারি মুকুন্দ
Srinivasa
Srivasa Hari
Murari
Murari Mukunda
গৌর প্রেমে স্মর স্মর রে
Gaura Preme
Gora Premes Mara Smarare
শ্রীনিবাস হরিদাসে গৌর প্রেমে স্মর স্মর রে
Srinivasa
Srinivasa Hari Dase Gora Premes Mara Smarare
রূপ সনাতন জীব রঘুনাথ ধ্বদ্ভ
Rupasa
Sanatana Jiva Raghunatha Dvandva
যদি ভজন করবে রে
Yadi
Yadi
Bhajan
Bhajan Kare
রূপ সনাতনে স্মর যদি ভজন করবে রে
Upasana smara yadi bhajan karvere.
রাঘব গোপাল ভট্ট স্বরূপ রামানন্দ
Raghava Gopala Bhatta Swarup Ramananda.
কৃষ্ণ প্রেম যদি চারে
Krishna Premedi
Krishna Prema Jadi Chare.
স্বরূপ রামানন্দে স্মর কৃষ্ণ প্রেম যদি চাও রে
Swarup
Swarupa Ramananda Smara Krishna Prema Jadi Chare.
গোষ্ঠী সহ কর্ণপুর সেন শিবানন্দ
Goshti
Goshti Sahakarna Pura Sena Shivananda.
অজস্র স্মর স্মর রে
Ajasra Smara Smara.
গোষ্ঠী সহ সেন শিবানন্দে অজস্র স্মর স্মর রে
Goshti
Goshti Sarena Shivananda Smara.
রূপানুগ সাধু জন ভজন আনন্দ
Rupano
Rupa Ruga Sadhu Yana Bhajana Ananda.
ব্রজে বাস যদি চারে
Rajiva Chari Chaure.
রূপানুগ সাধু জনে স্মর ব্রজে বাস যদি চাও রে
Rupanuga Sadhu
Rupanuga Sadhu Jane Smara Rajiva Chari Chaure.
রূপানুগ সাধু জন ভজন আনন্দ
Rupanuga Sadhu Jana Jana Nanda.
ভজরে আমার মনতি মন্দ
Bhajare
Bhaja Bhaja
ধন্যবাদ।
Okay. Kanapriya, would you like to read the English?
Yes, Maharaj. Serve, serve, my mind is so foolish. There is no way other than service. O my foolish mind, there is no way other than service. Serve Radha Krishna's lotus feet in Vrindavan. Abandon worldly knowledge and action. Follow the path of divine love and abandon worldly knowledge and action. Serve Gauranga, Gadadhar, Dvaita, Nityananda, Sri Guru. Know that Gauranga and Krishna are non-different, and that Sri Guru is Krishna's dear devotee. Remember Srivas Thakur, Haridas Thakur, Murari Gupta, and Mukunda Datta. With love for Gauranga, always remember them. With love for Gauranga, remember Srivas Thakur and Haridas Thakur. Remember Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami. If you want to serve, then remember Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatan. Remember Raghava Pandit, Gopal Bhatta, Goswami Swarup Damodar, and Ramananda Rai. If you want Krishna Prem, then remember Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Rai. Remember Kavi Kanapur, Shivananda Sen, and their family. Always remember them. Always remember Shivananda Sen and his family. Remember the sadhus who follow Sri Rupa and the joy they feel in their service. If you want to reside in Raj, then remember the sadhus who follow Sri Rupa. Jai Ki Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki Jai.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Oh.
Who is Kavi Karnapura Maharaj?
Huh? So is
Kavi
this?
Karnapura.
He's asking
Kavi?
who's Kavi Karunapur.
I can't remember. What is he?
Maharaj, he is actually son of Sivananda Sen, Puridas. So later on, he become Kavi Karnapur Goswami, who is the Rasacharya of Gaudiya line actually. Mahaprabhu's disciple, Maharaj. He is a direct disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Okay. Kavi, he was a poet?
Yes, Maharaj. Actually, he has a pastime in Puri. I think that famous one, Maharaj. That Puridas name given Mahaprabhu, and then Mahaprabhu told him to chant Hare Krishna, but he was not chanting Hare Krishna. Then Mahaprabhu was very much, sad that he made a mountain and rocks, animals chant Hare Krishna, but this boy is not chanting. Then I think Swarup Damodar Goswami told that you given him mantra, so he don't want to chant before you. He feeling shy to chant. Then Mahaprabhu asked him to chant a sloka. Then immediately he chanted, some wonderful sloka from Srimad Bhagavatam. And he used to suck the finger, toe of Mahaprabhu's, finger on the feet. Then, so it's very sweet pastime with Mahaprabhu.
Okay.
He has, Maharaj, given all the names of the Gaudiya Acharyas in Braja. Gaur Ganadesh Deepika, that one.
Yes, that's right. That's all the names of the associates of Krishna
Yes, Maharaj.
and who were in Mahaprabhu's Leela. Any other question? Why you are asking that question, Uma Devi?
Because I never heard this word.
You never heard of it?
Maharaj, why devotees are all called most of the time kavis, means poets?
Huh. How many devotees are called Kavi?
Generally, also devotees they call kavi in the scriptures I see in many places.
Well, I think when Prabhupada listed the qualities of a devotee, one of the 26 qualities was poetic. So that quality is there in a devotee. Somehow, when you become a devotee, you become poetic. In the spiritual world, every talk is a song, and every step is a dance. So automatically, if you can make up a song, you're actually making a poem, no? Songs are also poems that you sing. Maybe like that. I don't know, Maharaj. Just making some.
Maharaj, that sloka I've forgotten. That is where Prabhupada says even scientific knowledge engage. Idami pumsa, that sloka. In that also, it is being called kavis in that also.
Where is that?
Devotees are like Idam hi pumsa, that sloka, Maharaj.
Oh, yes.
actually the ultimate goal of life is to glorify Lord by the choice poetry that says that ultimate.
Yes.
So
So
there also it is.
even your scientific theories are poetry. Very poetry means very sweet to hear. It doesn't necessarily have to rhyme. There's so many different types of poems. Not all of them have to rhyme, but they're very sweet to hear, and they contain some uh, precious knowledge. Uh, some message is conveyed to them. Very sweet.
I feel Maharaj Srila Siddhar Maharaj English is also like a poem actually. His writing.
Yes, well, his songs were very poetic and amazing. They exhibited many symptoms of very highly developed poetry, and Rupa Goswami was also like that. His poems were full of different nuances of poetic composition, like repeating certain sounds in one line. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj was like that. He used to put together words with different, and the sound would be very nice and repetition sometimes. So I can't remember an example right now.
Premadhama Devastotra, many are there, man, like that. That
Yes. Even the name of the deities, Sri Guru Garanga Gandharvika Govinda Sundar. Okay? Their G is all pronounced throughout all the names. Sri Guru Garanga Gandharvika Govinda Sundar. So the poet has that capacity to bring in different types of very beautiful sounding, clever sounding words. All right. Now, let's see, 2:30. Today is Narottam Das Thakur's appearance day. And maybe we could read something about Narottam Das Thakur.
Could we sing one song by him? The glory of the Vaishnavas? Is it too much?
So, yes, Narottam was a very special devotee in our line. He, just like we have Bhakti Vinod Thakur in our time, Narottam was sort of in that position. Just after Mahaprabhu, he became the inspirational person, very learned person, who was spreading the message of Mahaprabhu, the teachings of Mahaprabhu. Just like in our time, Bhakti Vinod Thakur came and spreading the message of Vaishnavism to everyone, reviving and sustaining and maintaining, promoting the Krishna consciousness teachings from Mahaprabhu. You can imagine, he was the Bhakti Vinod of his period. And he traveled all over the area, Manipur and all these other, what was that? What do you call that? The northeast
region.
Yes, northeastern India. Traveled all throughout that area preaching the message of Mahaprabhu. So, without his influence, there would not be the kind of Krishna consciousness that is now present in Kodadesh and all that area. So a very important Vaishnava. We may not realize the importance in this time, but at his time he was extremely important for Vaishnavism. So, and he wrote many, many songs, and we like to sing those songs because they are so potent. They have so much of the Krishna consciousness uh, mood and feeling. So they became very important for the Vaishnavas. But he was not only a great poet, a great kavi, he was also a pundit, very learned. And no wonder he was instructed directly by Rupa Goswami. His teacher his guru was Lokanath, but he lived with Rupa Goswami many years at his lotus feet and was receiving instruction from him along with Srinivasacharya.
It was Jiva Goswami Maharaj.
Jiva Goswami, yes. What
Jiva
did I
Goswami,
say?
yes.
So
Rupa Goswami. You said Rupa Goswami Maharaj.
Yes, Jiva Goswami. Anyhow, so they had direct association with the six Goswamis in that way. So now this is an excerpt from the Affectionate Guidance, the book Affectionate Guidance by Srila Bhakti Govinda Maharaj. And it's chapter 17 in praise of Narottam. And I think it covers a lot of the different features and aspects of Narottam Das Thakur's life. So I like this excerpt very much. I'll try to read it to you, and you could see all the things that it covers in Narottam Das Thakur's pastimes. Of course, not everything is here, but a lot is here.
Which book, Maharaj? Affectionate Guidance, Maharaj?
Affectionate Guidance of Govinda Maharaj.
Okay, Maharaj. You are reading which chapter, Maharaj, in that?
Chapter 17. 17 in praise of Srila Narottam Das Thakur. And he says today, he's saying here, today is the disappearance. Of course, today is the appearance. But when he was saying this, so I'd like to say a few words to glorify him. Before Bhakti Vinod Thakur's, most of the Vaishnava's songs came from Srila Narottam Thakur. Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sama. You all know that? That is from Narottam Das Thakur's Prem Bhakti Chandrika, or the part which is part of the Prarthana, or the prayers, a book of prayers that Narottam compiled. But although
I've shared the link on the chat if anybody wants to read that when I follow.
Thank you, Maharaj. But although he wrote many beautiful songs, devotional songs, Narottam Thakur was not just a songwriter. He was a great pundit, and more than that, he was a devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Mahaprabhu one day was traveling to Ramakeli, on the way he had to cross the river Padma. And while on the banks of the river, he began to call Narottam, 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 like that. Devotees couldn't understand what the meaning of that is at that time. But later, it was revealed that from that part of Bengal, a great devotee would appear, and his name would be Narottam. Sriman Mahaprabhu had left a great fortune stored in the waters of Padma Devi for Narottam, and that gift was Krishna Prem. Narottam, you know the meaning of Narottam, the name?
Best among the men, Maharaj?
Nara means who? Means man, huh? And Uttama, yes.
Uttama.
Uttama and Nara. Nara means human, and Uttama means highest. So highest personality, highest human, Narottam, given this name because he had very high conception, and he also had a very high position in Krishna Lila. He is actually one of the Manjaris. Uh, I can't remember now the name. Uh, Anyhow, in the group of Manjaris, his position was there, and the service of Rupa Manjari. So Mahaprabhu was just came to that river, and he somehow, because he's Kalagyan, Trikalagyan. Trikalagyan means he knows past, present, and future. Trikalagyan, 3 times. There are 3 times past, present, and future, and he's Trikalagyan means he knows the past, present, and future, and so he was calling there for Narottam. And in the Padma River, that was a very special significance in Narottam's life, as we'll see. And so there he felt the presence of Narottam, and he left that love that he felt for Narottam as great devotees, Manjari, as I said, who would become born in that area. And then, after many years, Narottam appeared in the village of that area known as Keturi. He was a prince, the only son of Raj Krishnananda and Rani Narayani Devi. Narottam was enlightened even from his early childhood, and one day he had a dream in which Nityananda Prabhu instructed him, go to the river Padma and take your bath there, because Mahaprabhu has left his gift of Krishna Prem for you within her waters. Then Narottam immediately awoke and went to the river and entered the water. While bathing there, he suddenly experienced the divine form of Mahaprabhu embracing him, and Krishna Prem entered into his being. He became transformed, and just like Mahaprabhu himself, he began crying, dancing, laughing, and constantly chanting the names of Krishna. And suddenly, Ashta Sattvika Bhav, the 8 symptoms of ecstasy and love of Krishna, appeared in his body. Then we mentioned this, horripilation. Do you know the meaning of horripilation? Horripilation, the hairs on your body when they stand up. Sometimes in ecstasy, the hairs on the body will stand up. That's called horripilation. And tears coming from the eyes, and perspiration coming from the pores of the body, and laughing, and all these things. These are the symptoms of the one who has experienced the ecstasy. Of course, now some sahajas exhibit these symptoms just to bring attention to themselves that, just see what a great devotee I am. But not like that. This is a genuine feeling of love of for Mahaprabhu, in which Mahaprabhu was actually embracing him, and he was feeling all these symptoms. When Mahaprabhu embraces his devotees, they both experience tremendous ecstatic symptoms of love. Upon returning home, Narottam's mother began to question, "Oh, my son, what has happened to you? Why are you crying and behaving in this particular way? Please, if I can help in any way, I'm ready to do anything. I'm even ready to give my life if that will help you. Tell me, what can I do?" Narottam replied, Mother, last night I went to the river Padma, inspired by a dream, and there someone who I believe was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced me and entered into my heart. Now I am feeling great sadness and separation from that Mahaprabhu and from Sri Krishna Chandra, and that is what causes me to cry. If you wish to show your kindness to me, then please give me permission to go to Vrindavan, where I shall search for Mahaprabhu. So after hearing Narottam's petition, his father became worried, fearing that his son would leave home, and so just like the father of Raghunath Das Goswami, he arranged some guards to watch Narottam. Narottam remained in the house, chanting, dancing, and writing devotional songs, and always manifesting the 8 symptoms of divine ecstasy. Narottam was restless. That's 8 symptoms of divine ecstasy are satvika bhav. Huh? What do they call? Ashta satvika bhav, I think. Just like crying and trembling and uh, something like that, all those symptoms, horripilation. Then Narottam was restless, always crying for Mahaprabhu and Krishna. Since the day he took his bath in the river, his body had changed from his dark complexion. He had become the same golden color of Mahaprabhu. Radharani's color had come into his body, and everyone was greatly uh, surprised, saying, yes, it is true, Narottam has received Krishna Prem from Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu is really living in his heart. Everyone was offering him respect, but his father was becoming more and more worried. One day when his father had gone to pay taxes on behalf of his estate, of the state, and had traveled far away, Narottam went to his mother, crying in great anguish, and again petitioned her mother, please give your permission. I must go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu's associates, who are living in Vrindavan. It is the order of Nityananda Prabhu, so please arrange for me to go. Narottam's mother made the arrangements, and in secret, Narottam left his home and went to Vrindavan. So now, Narottam had been having many dreams, which Mahaprabhu instructed him to go to Vrindavan and take shelter at the lotus feet of his confidential devotee Srila Lokanath Das Goswami, who would give Dikshit to him. He also told Narottam to find Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami, and Srila Jiva Goswami, and to keep their holy association. After arriving in Vrindavan, Narottam found that Rupa and Sanatan had already left the world, but he found there Srila Jiva Goswami, Srila Lokanath Das Goswami, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, and many other great Vaishnavas who gave him their company. Narottam became the student of Jiva Goswami and petitioned Lokanath Goswami to give him Diksha. Lokanath refused him. Lokanath had decided he would never accept any disciples and lived in an extremely austere way in Vrindavan, living under a different tree every night. Narottam felt great sadness upon being refused by Srila Lokanath, and he told him, I can only take my initiation from you. Sriman Mahaprabhu has told me that you will give me Diksha, so until then I will wait. Narottam tried to serve his guru, but the Goswami would allow no one to serve him. Narottam thought, if he will not even stay under the same tree for more than one night, then what kind of service could I do for him? After a while, Narottam noticed that Sri Lokanath Prabhu would always go to the same place to pass stool. And he began to think that although Lokanath had refused to give him any service for over 2 years, if he could clean that place every day, then at least he would have some service. Narottam was fixed in his resolve that he must take Diksha from Srila Lokanath Goswami, and this was on the order of Mahaprabhu. Then very soon Lokanath began to notice, I come here every day to pass stool, and it seems that someone is cleaning this place after me. Who can be doing this? So one night from a hidden place, Lokanath saw that at midnight Narottam is coming, and very happily cleaning that place. Lokanath knew that Narottam was the son of the famous king Krishnananda Dutt. He was greatly astonished and confronted Narottam. Why are you, a prince of high noble birth, coming each night and cleaning this dirty place? And Narottam replied, Prabhu, I need your mercy. Without your mercy, I cannot live. Your vow is that you will not accept any disciples. But the order of Sriman Mahaprabhu, it is my vow that I must have your connection. I don't know when you will give me your mercy, but you must accept me as your disciple. So after refusing Narottam 18 times, finally Srila Lokanath Das Goswami took Narottam Das Thakur and gave him Diksha. Narottam received instruction from Jiva Goswami, Srila Kaviraj Goswami, and many other Goswamis who were there in Vrindavan. He was a great Pandit, and all the devotees headed by Sri Jiva, recognizing his qualification, bestowed upon him the title of Thakur. Narottam Thakur's close associates and peers were Shamananda and Srinivas. From the inspiration of Srila Jiva Goswami and the other Vaishnavas, the three great devotees were sent back to Bengal to continue the preaching of Mahaprabhu. The Bengali Vaishnavas were very eager to read the writings of Sri Rup, Sanatan, Raghunath, Krishnadas Kaviraj, Lokanath Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Excuse me. Prabodhananda, Saraswati, and other Goswamis. So Narottam, Shamananda, and Srinivas traveled from Vrindavan towards Bengal with many copies of those great books of these great Vaishnavas. Finally, they arrived in Vishnupur in the district of Birbhum, Bengal. The king of this region was Raj Bir Hambir, but he was a dacoit or bandit. He was engaged in many robberies in the area. The king had a Brahmin astrologer, and according to the astrologer calculation, he would know where and when to carry out his next robbery. The astrologer informed the king that on a particular route bullock carts would be passing, carrying many precious jewels. So the jubilant king sent the dacoits to rob the caravan. While Narottam and the Vaishnavas slept, the king's dacoits stole away the chests containing the books of the Goswamis. So after much searching, Narottam, Srinivas, and Shamananda, in great sorrow, could not trace the books. And then Srinivas ordered Narottam to return to Katuri Katurigram, and Shamananda went to Midnapur, where they began preaching. Srinivasacharya resolved to stay and try to find the stolen books. Srinivas heard that in the assembly of Rajbir Hambir that night, a great Pandit would give explanation of Srimad Bhagavatam. The Brahmin in whose house Srinivas was staying invited Srinivas to accompany him to the meeting, and Srinivas agreed. After hearing the Pandit's explanation of the Bhagavatam, Srinivas addressed Rajbir Hambir saying, Srimad Bhagavatam is not a child's play. It is a transcendental knowledge descended to this earth for our super benefit, and the explanation given by this man is intolerable. He obviously knows nothing of the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Rajbir Hambir was greatly surprised at Srinivas's exclamation and asked him, then, can you explain the Bhagavatam? Yes, I can, replied Srinivas. And taking his seat on the Vyasasan, he spoke for several hours. All those that heard him became greatly moved, and they all, including the king, took shelter of his lotus feet. The king humbly approached Srinivas. Prabhu, you are indeed a great Vaishnava. Please tell me what service I can do for you. Where have you come from? How far have you traveled? Srinivasacharya told him, I have come from Vrindavan carrying chests of books written by the Goswamis, but now they are lost, stolen by I know not who, so I remain here searching for them. With his head bowed, Rajbir Hambir announced, I am the culprit. I have those books in my home, and every day I have been worshiping them. My astrologer told me that his calculations were true and that the books were actually jewels, although they were in the form of books, and so that is why every day I am offering puja. And the king took Srinivas to the books. The news was sent to Narottam and Shamananda, and the great jubilation Narottam Thakur arranged a grand festival. As well as Narottam, Shamananda, Srinivas, and other noted Vaishnavas, Mother Jahnavi Devi, Sri Nityananda's Prabhu Shakti, and all so came there to Keturi Gram to attend the festival. After properly worshipping Jahnavi Devi, Narottam Thakur installed 6 deities in different temples: Sri Krishna, Vallavi Kanta, Rajamohan, Radhakanta, Radharaman, and Gauranga. Elaborate puja arrangements were made, including a month-long festival of Hari Kirtan. And every day in Narottam's Kirtan, those who were fortunate saw Nityananda Prabhu and Mahaprabhu dancing there. Such was Narottam's devotion. Those who knew him considered he was the incarnation of Nityananda Prabhu and Mahaprabhu combined. Although Lokanath Goswami only had one disciple, Narottam, gave Krishna Prem to everyone, and just like Nityananda Prabhu, he did not consider who was fit and who was not. Whoever wanted Krishna Prem, then Narottam would give it to them. He was given this special power by the grace of Mahaprabhu, Nityananda, and Lokanath Das Goswami, Narottam's Gurudev. Narottam Das Thakur was born in the Kayasta community. It caused a great deal of controversy by accepting disciples who were from the Brahmin caste. The Brahmin section were very angry with him and tried repeatedly to defeat him in debate. But the only result was that more Brahmins were becoming his disciples. The Brahmins were very unhappy, and when in his last years Narottam manifested much sickness, the Brahmins declared that this was the result of Narottam violating the scriptural injunctions by accepting disciples from a higher caste than his own. Gradually, Narottam's condition became worse, and finally he died. The Brahmins were jubilant and began celebrating Narottam's passing as proof of his offense to their community. Narottam's disciples were heartbroken and prayed before the Guru's body. "Oh, Prabhu, you have shown this Leela of your passing in this way, and the Brahmins are committing offense to you, to your lotus feet, because they cannot understand. Lord, what shall we do? Now, surely all the preaching will be ruined if you show this kind of passing Leela. Please show your mercy to these misguided Brahmins." Suddenly Narottam returned to his body and sat up. And upon seeing this miracle, the opposition surrendered to his lotus feet. Some months later, Narottam was exhibiting intense symptoms of separation from Radha and Krishna. So again he left this world. His body turned into milk and merged with the waves of the holy river Ganges. In this way, Narottam Das Thakur preached Krishna consciousness, and from him, preceptorial line is coming to Vishwanath Chakravarti. Narottam wrote many songs of devotion, and Prema Bhakti Chandrika is very famous in this world amongst the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Today is his appearance day, and we pray for his grace upon us all. Good evil. Narottam Das Thakur ki jai.
Joy.
When he was the second time he was leaving this world, I found this picture on the internet. Shows Narottam Das Thakur in the Ganges River. On each of his sides, there are two disciples on each side of him, and they are pouring water on him. And as they pour water on him, you can see his body is turning into milk. And they took this milk in the water, mixed with water, in the pot, and they took it to a temple, I think, Gokulananda temple in Vrindavan, and they built a small samadhi there with that pot. And even to this day, it's called the Dudh Mandir. Dudha. Dudha, of course, means milk. And in this way, they preserve the glorious memory of Narottam Das Thakur. Narottam Das Thakur. And a special devotee.
Sripad Maharaj used to always like to sing his songs.
Yes. Very important for Manipur. He brought Vaishnavism to Manipur.
His one disciple, Maharaj, Ganganarayan Chakravarti, he preached in Manipur.
And his Nityananda's son, what was his name?
Birchandra.
Oh, Birchandra, yes. Did he preach there in Manipur also?
No, Birchandra was preaching in mostly Radhadesh.
Okay. Because
Radhadesh is like, the place where Ganga's air, flows, Maharaj, but not Ganges directly. But that is a little before Northeast begin, actually. Towards Northeast, but not yet Northeast.
Okay. Yes. As he was even more extensively preaching than his father, Nityananda. Chandra, he was such a strong preacher. Huh?
That area become Birbhum Maharaj by his name. Now also that area where Ekachakra Dham is there, the district is known as Birbhum or Birchandrapur.
Okay. So he and also Narottam was also a very extensive preacher. Just as Bhakti Vinod also has become very extensively known, so Narottam was also very important, very extensively known.
Narottam Das Thakur, he started some unique way of preaching, like a big kind of, like a mela. I don't know what that is called in English. It's like a mela, means like a big kind of, gathering of like a festival, where you have, deity, like many types of deities are there. They're worshipping. Many devotional activities are going on, and large number of people are gathered. It's like
Like
a
Kumbh
market,
Mela. Like Kumbh
Yes,
Mela,
mela.
huh?
Yes, Maharaj.
Uh,
So many people used to get initiated during that festival, and many times somehow Narottam Das Thakur had some, close relationship spiritually. I think with Janva Mata. She used to come many times to his
yes.
festival. His
Yes.
festival.
Another one also, Vishuddha. What was her name? Yes.
Basudha.
Vasudha, yes. His other wife.
Yes,
They were
yes,
both
Maharaj.
involved. They were both involved in those meetings.
Yes, Maharaj.
Oh,
He started also Ashtaprahar Kirtan, Maharaj. In it's like, continuous kirtan. But later on, some people imitated Narottam Das Thakur, especially in Bengal, and they like paid kirtaniya. They started by following, imitating that.
I
they,
see.
they they do like, whole day and night kirtan, but paid people. But Narottam Das Thakur has first started this type of things, but he was spiritually empowered for doing that, those type of things.
Very good, yes. Huh? He had many encounters with Mahaprabhu in his dreams. Mahaprabhu, he could not be there personally, but in his dreams he would associate Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. And actually, he had so many intense feelings of love for them that people would um, it would come to their attention that Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu were there in his kirtans. Huh?
Mhm.
They would experience in those kirtans that Chaitanya and Nityananda were actually present. So the power, divine power of Narottam Das Thakur. Okay. Any questions? Comment? Other than
Bharat,
Shaktaman? Yes?
what is the Thakur? What does that mean?
Thakur. Yeah, yes. All right. That name, actually, I think that was given to him by Srila Jiva Goswami to indicate that he was just like God, just like Mahaprabhu. Thakur means like the Lord, Thakur, the Supreme Lord. So that name is given to those who are the representative of the Lord. Yet also in the scripture it says that Acharya Mam Vijaniyat, Krishna says, know that I am the Acharya. So those who reach the higher conception like that know that the Guru is actually Krishna coming to them in the form of a teacher. They don't really make a distinction. There's a distinction, but there's no distinction between them in that sense. Huh? When Krishna wants to appear to his disciple, he comes in the form of Acharya to instruct him. Out of love for his devotee who can't see him directly, he comes in Acharya form and presents the understanding and develops the love between guru and disciple, which is the same as love for between a devotee and Krishna. Very advanced devotees can see guru in different positions.
Mm.
They may first see him as an ordinary person, teacher coming to teach them something. Then, as their conception increases, they will see him in different ways. I heard that from Sridhar Maharaj. He told they may see him as just a representative of Krishna. And then they see him with Krishna standing on his shoulders, with Krishna standing on the next realization. And then more intimate like that. They will see him as Krishna and then as the servant, a very intimate servant of the Krishna, and then as servant of one of the groups that are serving Radharani, and then as Radharani also. So many different levels of realization of Guru, uh depending on our own devotional progress, how deeply we can understand these things. We were
Dhanyavad,
yes, Prabhu.
Dhanyavad Maharaj. May I please comment? Please, time differences are so very difficult because we're all over the world and so on, yeah? And as you have so wonderfully said so many times, perception is so different. The moon rising here, it's the full moon here today, tonight, and yet somebody else on the other side of the world will see the moon in a different way. Yet it is still the same moon. And yet, what I'm really simply saying is that different ways of perceptions and so on, and as you said, different ways of perceiving Guru. I would so much wish that Guru Shanta Maharaj can take some relaxation and some sleep now, because he must be exhausted. I am exhausted even watching all his wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. You know, he must be exhausted, and his voice is so wonderfully low. It's so fantastic, just like your voice as well. Your voice is wonderful, but Maharaj Shanta, Guru Dev, his voice is now so low. It's wonderful, but nevertheless, he needs rest, and he needs to just take a little break. And I just pray that everything will be good for him, and for his wonderful, wonderful, wonderful progress in spreading Krishna consciousness and my association with him and all you Vaishnava. Dhanyavad.
Dhanyavad.
All.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, this Thakur, that word is there, and also Narottam Das Thakur used that for one song, Thakur Vaishnava Pada, means that morning song we sing. So he is saying also to all the Vaishnavas as Thakur.
Okay.
So
also part of the development of our own realization. And devotee doesn't make a distinction between devotee and non-devotee, but he sees everyone as a servant of Krishna, everyone as an intimate associate of the Lord. Possible to come to that plane of realization also. Thakur. Some people, they criticize those who call Bhakti Siddhanta Sarthi Thakur by the name Thakur.
Bhagavan, Govind was called Bhagavan.
Bhagavan, yes. Why are doing that, they ask us. Is it not proper to make a non-distinction between Guru and Krishna? We're told that is another kind of Mayavad, that I am God. So they are looking at the devotees as God. That's kind of foolishness on their part. They are simply being Sahaja or Mayavad. No, that's not the proper idea. Higher conception, one may see Achintya Beta Beta Tattva. One and different is possible. One and different. Even Krishna himself can appear as his own devotee. Who is the Supreme Lord? He can also appear as a devotee of the Supreme Lord. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the predominated moiety of the absolute truth. He is coming in the incarnation of the predominated moiety, of Radharani, is also the Supreme. So God can be the Supreme, and He can also be the predominated, uh, serving unit of the Supreme. Don't put a limitation on Krishna or his devotees. But we don't only see one viewpoint that devotee is Krishna. No, we don't see like that. One viewpoint, that's the Mayavadi conception. There can't be any diversity in their conception of the Supreme. It's either this way or not. There's nothing else. Uh, only you are God or you are in Maya. We don't accept that. But everything is possible in the divine conception if we have the proper mood of surrender and humility and love. These ingredients are necessary to understand properly what is the Vaishnava Siddhanta, the conception of what is what. Humility, surrender, love, all these things are necessary ingredients. Otherwise, everything is simply mental speculation. That won't help. You won't be able to get to the honey that way. Only licking the jar, and the honey is left inside. What looks like honey, but is not. It's only the glass, the glass of the honey jar. So don't think you can go by way of mental, intellectual power or understanding. That won't work.
Maharaj, there is something there in Chaitanya Bhagavat. I forgot that sloka there, that Bengali one. It says that even though I know Jodhyapi Jani Amar Guru Chaitanya Das, Tabe Jani he is Chaitanya Prakash. Even though my Guru is the servant of Chaitanya, but still I know that he is the manifestation of Chaitanya. Both things it says in one, place. The servant and also manifesting, manifestation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Manifesting as a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is manifesting as a servant of himself. Just like
actually this.
Yeah, just like a diamond, huh? How does a diamond manifest itself with different colors? Yellow, green, blue, red, right? Different facets. They call faces or facets. But those facets are not the diamond, but they're coming from the diamond. Without those facets, the diamond wouldn't be what it is. So it's coming from the diamond, and that facet we are seeing, but it belongs to the diamond and its completeness also. And different from the diamond, yet at the same time, diamond cannot be understood apart from those different facets. It's the nature of the diamond to have different faces. And each one may see it in a different way. And that's also the coming from the facet is coming from the diamond. And we are seeing it in that way. At the same time, one facet is not enough to explain the whole diamond. But at the same time, they are necessary for the diamond to be what it is. So we may see everything in a different way. Everyone has a different type of identity in relationship to Krishna. So whatever the diamond manifests, that is a manifestation of the diamond, an expression of the diamond itself. A human being, a man may be a husband to his wife, a father to the children, a friend to his neighbor, like that, a plumber in his business relationships. And which one is that man? Can we say anyone is that man? No, they all are. His name is the same. and they may be Joe, Joe the plumber, Joe the husband, Joe the father. Uh, So he is seen as a different person, somewhat different in each circumstance, but at the same time, he is the same and one and the same person. So we may manifest different aspects, different sides of our own personality, but together they are the same persons. Krishna is like that.
Maharaj,
Yes?
I was remembering in this context also the song that Srila Govinda Maharaj written for Govardhan in Vrindavan, that Arati they sing, Sebya or Sevaka Rupe Prakash, means Govardhan is both servant and also like master, like Krishna and also Krishna servitor, both. So simultaneously. Very difficult thing to means understand, seems to me, by normal, like understanding, simple understanding.
So everything is Krishna's energy, Vasudeva, Sarvati. And Bhagavad Gita tells us it's all coming from Krishna. Then how it can be different from him? If there's something different from Krishna, then we'll have to say there's competition between Krishna and something else. Right? So that cannot be. Absolute truth means there's no competition. They all belong to the same absolute truth. Matter of vision. One time, Hegel gave a nice example. He said Krishna or God, the divine or the absolute is being, supreme being. Sometimes we call God the supreme being. Huh? So what does that mean? That God is the biggest mountain, and then around him there are some smaller mountains that are not supreme? No, not like that, he said. And not that when you say supreme being, it means there are some other beings that are not so supreme. Supreme being means any being participates in that being. All being is that same. There's only one being. That's like we say human being, vegetable being. Being is being. And they take different forms, but there's one being there and all. That is the supreme being. Being is supreme. There's one being, and all are participating in that. Whatever being there may be is also a finite portion of that infinite being. But the Maya bodies, they think if it's all being, then what is the difference between my being and his being? What is the difference? I'm a small portion of that. Part and parcel. Prabhupada used to say, part and parcel. We are part and parcel of being. We also have our being, but that being is not ours. Being, whatever that is his belongs. That is God. He is the only thing that really is. And we are all finite determinations. Finite determinations. Finite aspects. Just like the diamond, yellow is a finite aspect of the diamond. There's also yellow and green and blue and red, purple. So our aspect is one. But it's all aspects of one being, one thing, the diamond. Mayavadis can't accept that the truth is multifarious.
Maharaj, today we were reading this Gita, second chapter, where Krishna says that the soul is not born, it has no origin. And at the same time, sometimes we say that means the Krishna is the source of the soul, and soul originates from Krishna. So how to explain these two things actually?
What is this again? Soul is eternal?
Yeah, it has no like like a birth or like that.
Yeah.
So and yet we say that it originated from Krishna. So then
Means
how to
means that like this. We think that we are independent being. We are. I exist. What is that? I am. I think, therefore I am. We think like that. I am. I have my own being. But this is the problem. I have a being and you have a being. Your being, my being. We think they're two beings. And then there's God, third being. No, it is not like that. Being means being. What is? So our being is there, but it's not independent being. Independent means just like I said, the color yellow. Color yellow has its own existence, but is not on its own yellow. You can't separate yellow from what is yellow. The thing that is yellow, you can't separate the color from the thing that is causing the color. So the yellow has its origin in the thing, but it's not independent from that thing. This is the difference between us and God. We think our being is independent of Krishna, but we are just a reflection coming from him. A manifestation of one of his energies. And because we don't recognize our origin or the foundation of our own being, we think it's independent. I am on my own, who I am. No, that's a mistake. When we recognize that we are a reflection, an emanation, projection from something else other than ourselves, then we can recognize what is our nature of our true being. So in philosophy, they call this ground and appearance. Appearance is, but it's not independent isness. There's no independent is. The aspect, just like sugar. Sugar has some white color, but that white and the sweetness and all those cubicalness, all those qualities of the sugar, they are not existing on their own, independent of the sugar cube. We call them by different things, as if they're separate and independent on their own, but they have no independent existence. Without the sugar there, then those things would not have any appearance. We cannot speak of them. Although when we say sweetness, we don't necessarily mean sugar. A lot of things can be sweet. When we say white, doesn't mean that white only belongs to sugar. It belongs to so many things. But the point is, they belong to something. They're not just independent, however many there may be. They all have their dependence on that which they come from. The appearance, by the very meaning of the word appear, it means it's not the thing that is appearing. There's a difference between what appears and what is there. Appearance doesn't have an independent being on its own. Never. So we are appearances of the Lord's energy. But therefore, our being of us is not something on its own. It belongs to the being of the Lord, and we're just one aspect of that being. There's the meaning of Vasudeva Sarvabhati. Vasudeva Sarvabhati means all is Krishna. Krishna is everything. At the same time, everything is not Krishna. Understand? Yes.
May I ask?
Yes.
With your grace, may I ask a question, please?
Yes.
Sometimes, very much in some of the scientific presentations that you were able to make, but also particular. But you're saying like the crystal and the colors and so on, but the colors itself, for example, just green grass and the idea, even the notion of the color of the grass, the blade of grass, and how humble one cannot even, there's no possibility of even creating a blade of grass. Yet, nevertheless, the blade of grass, which is green, to a human's perception, as far as we're concerned, I know my dogs and all the other animals I have, they all see it differently, but I perceive it as green, and I have the commonality with other human beings to see this as green. But green is actually the absence of all the other colors. So, in other words, this is perhaps the notion of unity, of separation, and that separation causes even greater anguish and even greater harmony. And so, in other words, like if the sun reflects on something that you perceive as a green canvas, but actually it's the absence of all the other colors that allows the human eye to perceive that this is green, and as what we perceive as green. And again, back to like finite and infinite, like it's impossible to understand so many of these grades of energetic properties of the Lord in all these different manifestations, from smell, sight, sound, all these other things, and all that Maya stimulation. From the moment we wake up to the moment we go asleep, we are filled with all the sensations of this perceived reality. And just as, but separation most definitely from Guru, most difficult, but nevertheless, we are still left in the. For example, in Ireland today, there was major riots in the major street in the town, and there was an awful lot of incredible violence around the place, and it provoked very difficult situation in the country. But the right to protest was no longer allowed by government prohibition. Now, so therefore, there are many people who would have been, how should I say, trying to perceive things in a more holistic way, and yet emotions can get so. What do you call it? Mahamaya suddenly comes down on a society or a country or a situation or a county and so on. And again, it's the absence of consciousness of consciousness of their relationship, that these people think that they are all individuals, not realizing, understanding that. Where should I say? I've gone on too long.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Forgive me.
Any other?
Talking about the absence,
okay.
of color and light and so on any particular scenario that we see, and it's this perception and this consciousness to realize that, wow, I'm alive. Oh, Hare Krishna, how wonderful. But through Guru, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Guru Bhakti Vrinda.
Haribo. You have it. We may not be able to put it all into words, but certainly we understand something, have some intuition of what is what. So anybody else has some comment or question? That make any sense to it?
In terms of the colors and perceptions, when he was talking about green grass, I recalled from the theory of color in painting classes that green may appear as a different color if it is surrounded by some other color. Not only it may appear as brown, as gray, depends what color is next to it. So
Yes.
it's a very, I mean, it's very deep conversation about that, because if we transfer it into religion, and into psychology and everything. It's kind of like what I see even that the green grass could be a human being or some kind of a. I'll stop on a human being, yeah, a human being, but uh, you look at it at this human being when he or she is in the company of somebody else, and then you can evaluate what this human being is all about because you cannot take it in the abstract. You in the abstract, like on a blank, on a white, in the white that green speck will look green for what we were taught that it is a green color. So, but when this human being, even we need to talk to it. We need to be a surrounding of that human being, and then we will, like by comparison to us, in a way, then that human being will look like, oh, he is very good, and then you see this man in the family and how he is behaving in the family, and you see a totally different behavior and a totally different human being.
Mhm.
You understand what I mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
just like I mean, as a human being, we may think ourselves part of the material world just like scientists. They say we're a bag of molecules. Huh? But then at a higher conception, we know I'm more than molecules. I am a thinking being. Huh? I have thinking. Molecules don't have any thinking capacity. We understand ourselves in a more thoughtful way. And even higher than that, there's some transcendental conception where I am not the basis, the foundation of all determination of being, but I am a dependent being. My being doesn't come from myself, it comes from something other than myself. Who I am is not myself, but I'm something other than that. Hegel was stressed that point very much. Your being is not yours. It belongs to someone else, something more permanent, more original than yourself. It belongs there. And as our consciousness of these things, knowledge of these things arises up, we will see things in a very, very different way as we make progress in devotional understanding and knowledge, transcendental knowledge, until we even don't even lose sight of ourselves. Self-forgetfulness is there also, and we become completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness. So everything depends on our progress. Not everyone has the same consciousness. Some are not conscious of anything like we're talking about. And if we talk about these things, that they become confused. they, what is this nonsense? Huh? They will stick to their particular level of seeing things. So it requires a great deal of what do you call it? Flexible and open and humble and a very surrendering mood to reach that higher and higher consciousness till we come to the highest. It's there, it exists, but we are not there. Uh, we are not able to come into that atmosphere, enter into that atmosphere sometime, because we remain stuck at one particular thing that we're familiar with, one particular level of understanding that we have become familiar with. That's all. And we don't want to know how to go beyond that. There comes the help of Guru and Sadhu. They can help us. Their consciousness is not at that same level as you may be, and they can help somehow or other by serving them, by engaging in these processes of Bhakti Yoga. We can actually rise ourselves to that higher level of understanding if we give them a chance to enter into us, enter into our being, enter into our understanding. Is there. That process is there. This is the nature of Veda, of the Bhakti Yoga process. It is to help us go from one level to the higher. to the next, to the highest. So,
And to Maharaj,
yes.
thank you so much for your wonderful explanations and so on and indulgence. I am so sorry if I made offences. I know I made offences and many mistakes, but I am only a stupid idiot, a foolish person who just really are just so grateful to in being in association with Guru Maharaj Shanta, my Guru Dev, Guru Acharya, and so on. But no emotion involved. This is simply celebration of the fact that I am alive. Hare Krishna! But unfortunately, I must leave now because I have the area falling off my roof and I have my dogs going bananas. But I will keep listening on headphones. But I must leave for the moment. Dhanyavad Maharaj, thank you so much for your mercy and grace. Hare
We're going.
Krishna.
Thank you. We're also going to stop shortly. Thank you very much.
And please,
Maharaj, I want to ask,
let
one last,
Maharaj go asleep. Please let him get some rest. Please let him get some rest. He needs rest.
No, we're not. We don't want him to go to sleep.
He's eating too much.
You're not going to let him go.
Maharaj, I have a last, like this query about, the understanding of color from Newton's point of view and in a point of view of Goethe. Is it that Newton wanted the understanding of color independent of subject, or it is that people, they, perceived it like that? And then Goethe definitely wanted to, emphasize the role of, observer in in the knowledge of the object.
Yeah. Well, Goethe, he didn't believe that light has a combination of different colors. Huh? And Newton, he said, if you pass light through a prism, then the light will split into different colors. A spectrum, they call that. You'll see if you never pass light through a prism, and like if you have a chandelier, there's crystals there, the light will come. It'll look on one side yellow, another blue, like I was talking before about the diamond. The lights will split into different colors. So Newton was of the opinion that light must be the combination of all the colors. And Goethe said, no, that can't be. It's not possible. Because from an artist's point of view, you know this, if you put all the colors together, you get black, you don't get white. You mix all the colors together, you get black, right?
You get a muddy color, yes. Although they say normally that white reflects all the different colors.
Yes, but that's Newton's idea. But then Goethe said, but if you
all colors together make black.
Black. You mix yellow with blue and green and this and the other thing, you'll all get turned into a black mess. Brown or black, something like that. So from what do you want to say, analytic point of view, thinking point of view, you may say all the colors are there and the white. But from a practical point of view, they're not. We can't talk of it like that. So Goethe was saying from a practical point of view, it's not like that. There must be a different understanding of colors than what Newton has said in terms of frequencies and whatnot. That can't be the correct. That's not the way the eye interprets colors either. I will interpret blue as blue and green as green and yellow like that. Like in our TV sets or computer screens, we have what they call the RGB screen, red, green, blue. And by combining the colors like that, they make the different colors. But that is not true in the man, from the subjective point of view of the observer. We don't do it like that. And he, in fact, said he came up with his own theory of colors, that the colors are caused by different shades of white, darker or lighter shades of white. He said this is what's creating the different colors, and he made some experiments like that, which he was spinning different colors on a wheel, and he showed that by making the wheel go faster or slower, you would see different colors.
Hmm.
Different colors. I like this, and there's a big controversy between who is right. According to Goethe, artists like his ideas because they know that white does not produce different colors, or different colors don't produce white when you mix them on the palette. So they like Goethe's ideas better. They can that accommodates or agrees with what they can observe. my understanding of it is something like that. Huh? Is that what you understand, Shanta?
Yes, Maharaj.
May
I was under the impression that what Goethe wanted to emphasize is to do with with the individual's role in understanding the kind of an experience of color one is having. Then what in Newton wants to give it as like a independent understanding in terms of frequency.
Okay. Sana, what do you want to say?
I wanted to say because like I think there is a difference between colors as a paint and light. These are two different physical properties. Because light is waves. It's different. That is why when you put them, that is why the white light, when it goes through the prism, it breaks down into the rainbow colors. So it's just pure physics. I don't want to go there, but these are two different physical properties, and that's why it is um, kind of maybe incorrect to say that white paint will produce other colors. It will not, because it is a different physical substance.
Anyhow, maybe that there are so many different theories now, but as I understand, Goethe would see the prism, the different colors of the prism, due to the different shades of white that were coming through the prism. The light would be have different shades of brightness, and we interpret those the shades of brightness as the different colors. A very dark shaded color would be blue, or a very light shaded color might be yellow or whatever. So
Dhanyavad Maharaj.
he saw it like that. Prabhu, Dhanavad Samiya. My
Sorry,
Dhanavad to you.
very quick question, please. Can you explain, please, golden complexion, black complexion, and white complexion? I know it's a very heavy question, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should keep my mouth quiet.
All I know is that Krishna can come in any color. Red, blue, yellow, black. So they are all part of Krishna's energy, part of his mercy, part of his variety, and all have some beautiful contribution to make in some way to his pastimes and the devotees. And we don't really make so much emphasis on that because they're all good. All have some place, some role to play.
Guru Shanta make this most wonderfully explained to us as well. It sincerity in the heart is most first faith, then devotion, then surrender.
Okay. All right, then I think we all close for today. I'm very
Jai
happy. Very happy.
Sripad Bhakti Puri Maharaj ki jai.
Ki jai.
Very happy that Samantha
Dhanavad.
Prabhu could join us today, and Zana also. Thank you very much. Please come, and Amiya, please come. Every week we are here. I'd like to have your association. Appreciate my dandavats to all. Jai.
Dandavad Maharaj.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Dandavad. Dandavad.
Dhanavad.